From the ancient craft of yew to the modern art of slingshots, join me today in making this class, natural yew hammer grip slingshot frame.
Here it is, a chunky yew fork, seasoned for 18 months, now ready to be shaped. The grain is dense. This is where the build begins. I'm ripping it down on the bandsaw. Not with the ideal blade for the job, this one's more for fine cuts than brute force. So it's a bit like cutting a steak with a butter knife. Slow and steady wins the race, and with patience, it'll cut through. Every fork is different, every cut reveals what's hidden inside.
Guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Chris. Today, we're turning this yew fork into a really cool hammer grip slingshot. So let's go into the workshop and get started.
Now the real shape starts to appear. The lines I've marked are only a guide. On the bandsaw I stay close to them, but never flirt with the edge. Once you've cut too deep, there's no way to glue the sawdust back in. It's all about patience. Let the saw do the work and don't force the cut. The goal here is a clean silhouette, not perfect, just close enough for refinement. Every pass takes away a little more excess, and the fork begins to look less like firewood and more like a frame. Bit by bit, the slingshot starts to reveal itself. This is the foundation. From here, the handle and forks will come alive. Before the spindle work begins, I rough in the finger grooves on the bandsaw. The sander could handle it eventually, but it'd take forever and burn through too much grit. A few careful passes here saves a lot of sanding later. With the outline cut out, it's time to true it up. The spindle sander does the heavy lifting here. 40 grit. Aggressive, unforgiving, but perfect for chewing through timber. 40 grit eats mistakes for breakfast. I'll change the drum size as I go. The big spindle for long flowing cuts, the smaller drums for tight curves and corners. Each path smooths away the saw marks. The edges sharpen and the silhouette starts to look intentional. This is the stage where patience pays off. Push too hard, the wood will chatter, it'll bite too much. Take your time, let the grit do the work. Every change of diameter is a new tool in itself, large and small, each one leaving its fingerprint on the frame. The noise, the dust, the rhythm of the sanding, this is where the rough fork becomes a canvas. By this stage, the slingshot is no longer just an idea in my head, it's a shape you can hold, a glimpse of what's to come. Now it's the fork tips, ripping them down close to finished thickness. This is where precision matters. Too much and you've got kindling. Too little and you'll be sanding all day. I creep up on the line, taking just enough. Think of it like trimming a beard. Easy to take off, impossible to put back. With the fork tips roughed in, I move over to the linisher. Now it's 120 grit, a gentler touch, but still plenty of bite with the power of this linisher. This stage is about control, bringing the tips down, to their final thickness without taking off too much. The handle gets some attention too, just enough sanding to start softening the edges. 120 grit is like a polite neighbour. It won't smash your fence down, but it'll still borrow your tools if you're not watching. Every pass now is finer, more deliberate. The frame starts to feel like a slingshot in the hand, not just a lump of wood.
Here is what we're working with so far. We've got our same finger grooves, choils that we used the last time, which worked lovely. The same sort of, well, I'm tempted to call it like a gull wing sort of brace at the top for your hands. Holds it nicely there, helps it lock in. I'm going to start doing away with the bark on the back because I think the bark will eventually peel off. So we're going to still have like a live edge, just not like a live bark edge. And you can see there, like a wee bit of spalting in it, little black line coming along here. A few flaws, but we're getting the basic shape out. I've got Paul here for a second opinion on the ergonomics. It always helps to get another point of view and another hand around it, really.
Yeah, I think it's quite good, obviously. Once these edges are softened up and rounded off, it's going to fit much better into the hand. But given the fact that the edges are so sharp, it still does fit in quite snug at the moment.
It's a block.
Yeah.
And it's a comfortable block, which is a good sign.
But once those edges are softened, it'll fit into the hand much nicer.
We should get a nice wee heartwood, sapwood contrast there as well. You can see that sort of black mark in the centre of the handle here runs from the edge of the frame here. It's the very core of the tree, and it's exposed nicely right up through the middle of the handle. We're going to see that in way greater detail later on. Yeah, dusty old work that there, removing all that stuff. There's considerable amount of work in a hammer grip.
But the end result should be worthwhile.
So we're getting there.
Now the frame moves from flat to three-dimensional. This is where it starts to feel alive in the hand. Back to 40 grit on the spindle. Rough, brutal, but perfect for carving in the curves. I start with the palm swell, bringing a little dome to the back of the hand. The front edge gets attention too, a gentle rise where the index finger rests. It's like sculpting clay, only the clay is rock hard yew, and the chisel spins at 2000 RPM. Slowly, the blocky shape gives way to flow. The slingshot begins to sit naturally in the hand.
Here we have our basic shaping complete. And we're just going to refine the shape now by hand with 80 grit sanding pad before we start fine sanding. Yes, what would you like to say?
Hi.
Hi.
It's me and Daddy.
Yep, it's me and you.
Daddy showed this to me and Paul.
Yeah.
And look at this piece of wood. It looks like a toy car, doesn't it?
Yeah. We're making all kinds of things in the shed today, aren't we?
Yeah. Has anyone seen our other videos?
Yeah, you can see our other videos. Now go you out and keep digging, and I'll keep sanding.
Now it's time to leave the machines behind and let the hands do the work.
Bye. If anyone wants to dig, just ask your daddy. If he says no, just listen. If he says yes, just go and dig. Because my daddy said yes.
Yeah, I said yes, he's allowed to dig. He's going to dig a hole out the front of the shed and I'm going to fill it in again.
80 grit sandpaper, rough and direct, it tears into the high spots, shaping what the spindle can't reach. This stage brings the slingshot closer to final form. Each curve begins to flow and the frame starts to feel like it was grown for the hand.
Alright guys, so this hammer grip here is sitting at 38 or 89 mil. I want to sand it into 85 as per the customer's specs. Yeah, you say hi.
Hi. If anyone wants to watch videos, just go on my daddy's channel.
Good boy.
And you will see all of his videos. and you might see this one.
Yeah. How's your hole digging coming on?
Good.
Yeah. Digging up the garden. Better than watching TV. So yeah, let's get this sanded into 85 mil. $85 mil, baby! Mark band grooves, will I? Huh? In a wee minute.
I'm getting close to stone. Really close to stone.
So there's my band grooves marked. You get them cut in.
Now the fork tips get their defining feature, the band grooves. I'm cutting them in with a grinder. A bit rash, you say, I know. I'm using a chainsaw sharpening disc. It's quick, efficient, and with a steady hand, surprisingly precise. The rough grooves are refined by hand, using a chainsaw file to smooth the edges and tidy it up. It's a funny mix of tools, part workshop, part toolbox raid, but together they carve in the detail just right. By the end of this stage, the grooves are clean, functional, and after a little bit of sanding, they'll be ready for bands.
We got our band grooves in.
With the band grooves cut in, it's back to the spindle. This time with 150 grit. Not as harsh as the 40s and 80s, but still plenty of bite to shape the wood cleanly. This is where the build shifts from rough to refined, smoothing away the heavy scratches and gouges from the previous grits, and leaving the surface ready for the finer grits. 150 grit is like the middleman, not aggressive but not gentle either, just quietly doing the work in between.
Check it out. It is beautiful. It's looking beautiful. I'm just going to give it one more quick buff with Scotch-Brite on my spindle sander. My hair's full of sawdust. Yeah, I'm super thrilled with this. Oh man, I just seen a spot I'm not happy with in the light. It's always the way of it. So I've hit this on the spindle. You see me doing the 150 grit. Then I done 320, then 600. Little bit of hand sanding in between. I didn't want to bore you guys. I know I typically go through the grits. Let me know in the comments, do you like to see the full sanding process? Or are you happy enough that I skipped a lot of it? Anyway, I'm going to buff this tiny little rough patch out here. You can't even see it, doesn't even look that bad. Yeah, you can't see it, that. See that? I'm just going to get that tidy up. I'm going to buff it. I'm going to brand it. I'm going to oil it. Tomorrow I'm going to band it and shoot it. Let me know. More sanding, less sanding, what do you think? Scotch-Brite, I think this is 600 grit. Hammer grip frame, looking delicious. Live edge on the back, it's just the bark popped off.
The last step before oil is the Scotch-Brite pad. It doesn't bite like sandpaper, but it blends the surface into a silky smooth finish. This stage is all about feel, taking away the last bit of scratch. It gives the wood a soft, even texture.
Man, that's going to look nice when it hits the oil. Really locks in as well. done a super job on this, if I do say so myself. Okay, that's enough. Right. You're not going to believe this. I branded my fork. I didn't film it, and I branded it upside down. So, I'm going to sand it off, and we're going to do it again. Right, okay, let's see what we're working with here. This is the right way. Boom. Okay, it's tricky. It's always kind of scary doing this. Oh yeah, beautiful. Second time lucky. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Good, it's good. I'm liking it. Enjoy your bath. There she is, all finished up. Turned out absolutely beautiful. Stunning. Could not be happier with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm tempted to use wood dye. Any of you guys have been watching my channel for a while have seen my dyed naturals, dyed red, green, blue. What do you think about a dyed U-frame next? I can tell you what way it'll go. The sapwood will pick up all the dye and the heartwood will remain pretty unchanged. But yeah, that catapult there turned out amazing, if I do say so myself. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments, boys and girl. My one female viewer. Anyway, love your feedback, guys. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace out.